Hi guys, it's me, it's Insy again, and I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are happy and healthy. It's me again, and I actually have time because I'm waiting before I go into my job. So I thought I should get down and start doing a video analysis of a release from one of my undoubtedly most favorite artist of all time. You all know who it is. It's Jackson Wang. And if you haven't known or have been living under a shell, Jackson released his Chinese single "Okay" a few days ago. Not really a few days ago, but like a year ago on the 30th of December 2017. So in fact, he has been keeping this single under wraps for about 6 months, and sharp fans have pointed out that he sported some tattoos, right, in this music video. Well, those tattoos were spotted on him since June that year. So, I mean, this guy is like the god of teasing, right? But enough with me talking, let's get down to business. So, OK marks Jackson's second official single right after his smash single Papillon back in August. And unlike Papillon, OK is a laid-back R&B tune with husky raps and vocals coupled with deep, haunting rhythms. So Jackson said that "Okay" is meant to be a sad song and it is not supposed to be like Papillon. So you guys should also watch the man himself reacting to his own music video with Prince Mac, and the
Moral
link
of the
is
story
in the
is
description box below. So
don't play
oh my
with
god,
me.
I've been talking too much. Let's just get it down to business, okay? So, in the first part of the MV, we see a solemn Jackson sitting in the middle of a land ravaged by destruction. And the red colors of the first scene could symbolize a sort of danger or even anger that is imminent in Jackson's life. Jackson is also seen wearing a robe, brooding over something that is bothering his mind. And we see a bottle of alcohol too dripping. And all these seem to symbolize a motive of self-destruction, as though setting the tone for the rest of the music video. And Jackson finally turns as though ready to introduce whatever he's feeling. Also, a very smart commenter in his YouTube comments said that he actually hardly looks into the camera except for a few scenes, which I will break it down to you later on, so do watch out for that. And now the fun part, the deer. So some of you guys, some of you guys think that the deer is merely just for show, or even a Luhan cameo or whatever. But actually, the deer may symbolize a sort of sensitivity and even gentleness. If I had to put a metaphor for the deer, it would be to describe Jackson before fame and being hardened by the industry. He was naive, innocent, eager, fragile, and even vulnerable. And this deer seems to signify all that. And then we get a shot of Jackson brooding with bottles of alcohol in the table. So it seems to insinuate that Jackson could have been drowning his sorrows, again reiterating the motive of self-destruction. There is also the hand being shot, as though showing the loss of control that Jackson may have had in his life. And here now, we have Jackson in a bathtub. We also then see intercuts of Jackson rapping again in the midst of the destroyed land. Now here is where it gets interesting. From the bathtub to the scene, I would say a scene in heaven. I got reminded of a similar scene I've seen in Britney Spears' Every Time. So if you haven't watched the music video, she tried to end her life and then got into a coma. And she was also seen wearing a white shirt. And I think this white shirt, signifies purity, clarity, even the afterlife. And when I saw his white shirt, I got immediately reminded of her white shirt. Now, the water is now seen reaching overwhelming levels at this stage, further intensifying the motive of self-destruction, and the scene intercuts from heaven to his scene in the bathtub, as though showing that maybe he almost wanted to end his life. And now we see a scene of Jackson disrobing and getting ready to shower. I'm probably sure most of you guys think he's trying to be sexy and self-indulgent or something, but there's just something really vulnerable about this scene, and it kind of makes me shook. for some reason, because you see, this scene is not a frontal shot, it's even shot from the side, and it kind of instills a sense of voyeurism in me, in the viewer. And the motive of water is used again as though, signifying the never-ending flurry of emotions Jackson is feeling, or maybe his intense need of wanting to cleanse himself. What I could get from this scene is maybe, from your viewpoint, could be the immense pressure Jackson has from being in the public eye. And maybe him washing himself. Maybe he wants to cleanse himself. Maybe he wants to show a really good side of him, but then he's struggling at the same time. And it's true, as a celebrity, everything he does is scrutinized, and he always might have felt like he's being watched.
Or maybe I'm being too deep and this shot is just him trying to get back at his ex.
But whatever. Anyway, Jackson's frustrated this time, and this shot beautifully cuts and transits to his scene in heaven. Is he considering to end his life again? Even in heaven, he is hit by the immense rain, and we have a shot of Jackson brooding again. What could this rain, signify? For me, I felt like he was dilly-dallying between both, like wanting to end his life and then wanting to live his life. I think maybe he thought maybe if he wanted to end his life, then it would not make everything that he sacrificed for in the real life worth it, So it's constantly like, for me, that's what I feel. But, maybe for him, he's just like, dude, it's just rain. And for me, I felt like if I were to put a metaphor to all these scenes, it would be like the period of time of uncertainty Jackson faced pre-debut. He admitted that training was difficult, and he felt like quitting on the second day he came to Korea. In fact, if you guys read his latest interview in spring for Glass magazine, he said that training is definitely not easy, and it's not as easy as being scouted. According to his words, he said that it's harder than being an athlete because, first of all, you are put through tests. And if you don't pass these tests, you could easily get eliminated as a trainee. This is how hard their life was. And he said that, athletes could rest. Idols can't rest. They are under constant scrutiny. They're under, pressure to do well. And, they have to constantly promote, to be relevant in this industry. And so, interestingly, now, we also have Jackson now with his hair up. And I'm telling you, I think this is a premonition, because if you look at how his hair looks like now, it's probably similar. Yeah, and a very nicely fitted, expensive looking suit. So I did my research, and this is a Dior suit, and it costs at least $3,000 US. But not to worry, he's bathing in money. So I felt like this scene signified the increased amount of success and fame that Jackson continued to garner as he grew more in the entertainment industry. Now he then proceeds on to burn the house, the deer, as though also getting rid of his past insecurities, pain, difficulties, hardships that he faced. And from this scene, we finally understand why Jackson was in the middle of a ravaged land from the beginning. It's because he destroyed it all with the fire he set off. So maybe Jackson is showing no regrets over decisions, and that he has chosen to actually let go of his past fears and insecurities and move on. Jackson is also seen living the heaven. Maybe he doesn't feel as self-destructive as before. We also get shots of him when he was in Papillon. The helicopter could signify the support he receives from his parents, his fans, Team Wang, his band members. Now we come to the final scene. I love this scene because Jackson uses framing as well as some paintings. So while we thought we saw the ravaged land, Jackson also now keeps a memento of him burning the land. We also see the helicopter from Papillon. And also I felt like through the use of frames, maybe Jackson would want to reiterate that whatever we see of him may be only what we are limited to see. And nobody actually knows the true picture except for the man himself. And we also see the deer antlers and the frames. And while Jackson may have burned all of them in the fire, maybe Jackson wants to show that while he may have gotten rid of all his insecurities and fear that once haunted him, he is still reminded of them, and he will not forget his roots. Here comes my favorite part too. So, this part is pointed out by one of my Twitter friends, Selena, also known as WJE Papillon on Twitter. So he has paintings of a he has paintings of a famous Polish jester named Stanzix, who is employed by three Polish kings. The jester is depicted as the only person at a royal ball who is troubled by the news that the Russians have captured Smolensk. Now, his appearance is unlike that one you would expect in a jester, gloomy, deep in thought. This event happened in 1514. Stanzix was a popular figure. Besides his fame as a jester, he was even described as an eloquent, witty, intelligent man, using satire to comment on the nation's past, present, and future. Unlike jesters of other European courts, Stanzix have always been considered as much more than a mere entertainer. Maybe Jackson is trying to show us that, he's constantly seen as the goofy guy who cannot be taken seriously due to his immense presence in variety shows and funny variety sense. He once commented that it is easier for him to show more of his happy sides instead of his more serious sides on air. I think that Jackson has done a wonderful job with this music video, and the first time I saw it, I was really amazed by the amount of work he put in to make sure that he could portray his works more effectively, especially the paintings and the last part. So tell me in the comments down below if there are things that you don't agree with, or if you have any other things you want to add on from the music video. I'm always intrigued by film and the usage of imagery to achieve certain impact in viewers, and would love to hear from you. Hope Jackson has other music videos he's hiding in his closet. Adios! Remember I talked about how he hardly looks into the camera? He only looked into the camera
thrice, 112, 116, and 312.
I don't know about it, guys, but if you guys in a situation where you met someone that you don't really want to talk to, you probably avoid eye contact altogether, right? So maybe Jackson doesn't want to, make eye contact all the time because it's probably a very private, very sad period time of his life. And then I got reminded that, as a trainee, he actually kept all his problems to himself. And maybe, he just wanted to show how he had to do it all by himself, all these things. It's just him alone. He told himself he would be okay, but maybe he wasn't after all.